Hey everyone, welcome to episode 13 of Tuesdays with Thadd, where I give a recap of my weekend in wrestling. This Tuesdays with Thadd, I'm going to be talking a bit about Saturday night's main event, where John Cena had his last match in WWE. But for now, we're going to be starting off with my matches in an 8-man tournament with Justin, Nathan Fire, Jay Solo, Hot Cheeto, Ash, T-Dog, myself, and one of my trainers, Brandon G. During Brandon G's opening segment promo, he introduced Justin as the first entrant for the 8-man tournament. And Justin said that he chose the easiest person for him to fight in this match. And if you want to watch all of the other matches in the tournament, go to my YouTube page and go to FSW Kids Class 8-man tournament for a shot against the Juniors champ Leo. Right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my match against T-Dog. T-Dog is a part of a faction with Ash and Jay Solo, and they call themselves the Dogs. T-Dog has gotten a lot better since we last faced. Even though it was just a week ago, he has progressed a lot during that week. Although T and Cheater always seem to knee me in the gut, and it's quite sad that I still get caught off guard like that with that move. However, it's gotten a lot easier to recover from it. Something I did not expect from T is when I had him in the corner and went back for a splash, he charged at me while I wasn't looking, giving me no time to react. And smart thinking by T here shows that he's gotten a lot better, not just at the moves, but also learning how to gain an advantage against someone who is bigger. I also find it insane how resilient this kid is. Even after attacking him for a long time and giving a pretty well laid in elbow drop, he still managed to kick out. And not only that, he was even able to attack and gain the upper hand to choke slam me. I'm glad eventually I got him to a spot that I can end the match, but I was just worried that when the other dogs checked on T that they were gonna attack me. Thankfully they didn't, because that would have ruined my chance at getting that shot against Leo. Now on to the second round of the tournament, where my match there was against my trainer, Brandon G. He dressed up as Cena and even did Cena's entrance, but in the match, he acted nothing like Cena. After Brandon and I were fighting in the first lockup, he accused me of pulling his hair, and the ref didn't think I pulled his hair, and nobody else saw me pull his hair, and I know I didn't do it. In the middle of the match, I saw Brandon G kept attacking my leg over and over again, and I can't blame him for doing it, but that was a little much, at least so it felt, because it hurt a lot. Granted, I probably would have targeted a body part like that as well with someone else, but it felt like it was non-stop. Right around here, I saw an opportunity to hit him with my finisher, but he tried punching out and went up slipping off. However, I held on as long as I could, but it just wasn't enough. Then, thankfully, he wound up yelling out the name of the move that he was going to do, which was a DDT, and that helped me prepare to protect my head. Something similar happened here. He wound up saying that he learned this move from his friend Ice Williams, and that gave me an idea of what he was going for, only because I used to study some of Ice's matches for the open challenge that he made at Paid in Full. Right up here, Justin came out to go against Nathan Fire for his match. However, Nathan Fire wasn't able to compete and therefore forfeited. Brandon wound up also announcing afterwards that he let the dogs out. And Justin was all confused when he said that, up until he heard the music that played when the dogs came out. and the dogs kept attacking Justin. And at least what I thought was unexpected, Brandon G called me out to pin him. And I was all confused at first, and I was unsure whether I should or shouldn't. Now it's too late to decide because I didn't know what was going on at the time. So I didn't know I won until Brandon said I did. I guess I should be glad that the dogs didn't attack me, and they actually helped me get the #1 contendership to go against the current juniors champ, Leo. Now going on to Saturday night's main event. In this show, there were a lot of young up-and-coming superstars that were there, like Obafemi, who wound up going against Cody Rhodes. And Obafemi is big. He is 310 pounds, 6 feet 6 inches tall. Imagine that running at you full speed to uppercut you. Like, that's gotta be scary. After that, Cody wound up cutting his ear when he wound up getting hit. I'm not sure if it was from the hit or from the fall, but either way, his ear got busted open. Now, having been in the ring, I know how impressive it is to be able to do a Cody cutter, which it may not seem like much, but to be able to jump off the second rope and know where to grab your opponent's head is just really impressive, because it's really difficult to gauge where your opponent is, especially when you're jumping off of a rope. Although, this match got interrupted by Drew McIntyre, and Obafemi, as you can see, was not happy about that. And who could blame him? Like, you're going against the undisputed champion on Saturday night's main event and against ruined by Drew McIntyre. I mean, I would be mad as well, because that would suck. Thankfully, Cody wound up getting back at him with a springboard Cody cutter, and then when Drew got back up, that gave Oba the chance to be able to spinebuster him. Next up is a women's match between Bayley and Sol Ruca. And I have to say, Sol Ruca is insanely athletic. I mean, she literally did a cartwheel off the ropes into a DDT. Like, that must take a lot of practice. Bayley tried going for a high-flying move of her own, but since Sol Ruca has so much experience of high-flying moves of her own, she was able to reverse that easily. And there's a move that Sol Ruca does that's very impressive. She calls it the Soul Snatcher, where she runs, jumps onto the second rope, does a front flip into a cutter, which is insane. Up next, a tag match between the tag champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater. Javon Evans, again, like Sol Ruca, is very athletic. The way he got in the ring, just getting into the ring, he slingshotted in and did a handstand on the corner and landed as if he had springs on his feet. He also did a moonsault off of the first rope. However, it was to outside the ring, not inside. So it was a much higher. Even though he missed, he still saved it by landing it. Since AJ Styles moved out of the way, he saw an opportunity to attack him, so he hit him with a spear. While AJ Styles and Dragon Lee had the upper hand, Dragon Lee went for a Hurricane Rana, tossing him into AJ Styles in position for a Styles clash. And if Javon wasn't there to save Slater, that could have been the end of the match. Later on, Javon wound up going to the top rope to hit what he calls an OG cutter, where he goes to the top rope and gives AJ a cutter. And it looks like that hurt Javon a lot as well. But it seems like that's going to hurt AJ more than it is going to be Javon. Once Javon was done with his OG cutter, he wound up tagging in Slater so that way he can hit him with a 450 splash. Even though half of his body wound up hitting AJ, that's half the damage. And that almost ended the match. I couldn't imagine what would it be if he hit him with his entire body? This next part is where The Miz wound up cutting a promo, but R-Truth came out before he could finish and called him out on switching the names in the balls that were used to choose who will be in the Last Time Is Now tournament. And then R-Truth wound up revealing who The Miz wound up stealing that opportunity from, and that was Joe Hendry. The Miz didn't seem very happy about that, so he went up trying to go and attack Joe Hendry, but seemed like he was pretty prepared and wound up catching his punch and punching him back, and didn't even give time for The Miz to react. Granted, The Miz didn't give time for Joe Hendry to react, but I guess Joe Hendry could just react very quickly. Joe Hendry went to catch the crossbody of The Miz and hit him with his old finisher, not his new one, but the old one he liked to call Freak of Nature. R-Truth and Joe Hendry went on with their imaginary match against The Miz, with R-Truth as the referee / wrestler, and gave him a 10-knuckle shuffle and a standing ovation. 1, 2, 3 ended the match. The imaginary one. Now is John Cena's final match, which was against Gunther, who had won the Last Time Is Now tournament to earn his way to go against Cena. Now, I'd like to point out 2 moves that John Cena hit. One was an AA off the stairs, so managing to keep balance on the stairs, onto the table. And that was fun to see. Not to mention the other one that he hit, an avalanche FU. I guess the reason why it's called the avalanche FU is because it's high up. He went to the second rope and tossed him to the middle of the ring, just like an FU. Gunther's goal in all this was to retire John Cena by making him tap out. That's why he kept going for the sleeper hold over and over and over again. After doing it for quite a while, John Cena wound up giving a small smile, and then he tapped. John Cena has given all of us everything that he had, and for 25 years, day in, day out, no days off, working to be the greatest of all time and to leave WWE better than when he found it. And that is exactly what he did. And I feel like the best way I can say thank you to him is by becoming the person who beats his record and goes to shake his hand and say thank you in person. I'm now going on to the last few parts of Tuesdays with Thadd. Now, it's a match between Cheeto and I. Cheeto, I'd like to point out that he checked the ref to make sure that he didn't have any weapons on him, which I understand if he doesn't trust the ref because it's a special guest referee, but I don't think the ref is going to have any weapons on him like that, especially not Mondo. And in this match, I had a really close call that I want to mention. When he went for a kick, I ducked it just in time. It was right there. If I had moved a quarter second later, I would have been kicked square in the jaw. And oh my gosh, I got lucky. Anyway, moving on. I thought I would gain the upper hand here, but I was so close, but I didn't, because he wound up getting me just in time before I got him. Now, after that, he wound up backing me into the ropes and hit me with a spinning forearm, which really hurt because he had more momentum to hit me. It sucked, and I don't want to get hit by that again. Alright. Now here, I gave him in my opinion, a good elbow drop, but the spine buster is what I need to work on, because I needed to get closer so that way I could pick him up higher and then slam him down. Right after, I tried hitting him with my divider, but it didn't really go as planned because he wound up sliding right off and then hitting me with his blue thunder bomb, which I have to admit he did deliver the blue thunder bomb well because it hurt. But if he's going against an opponent, it's gonna need to be that way, which is very good for him because that move is gonna be very useful in future matches. I'm just glad that he didn't go for his 2 Germans and then the blue thunder bomb, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get back up. But thankfully he didn't, so I was able to get back up, catch his punch, and go for my divider again. And since he was running towards me, I was actually able to get him up on my shoulders faster, giving him less time to reverse. I'm also glad that he didn't win, because if he did, I feel like maybe he would have felt that he deserved the shot at Leo for the title rather than me. And if he won, that may have meant that I would have lost that shot. Now to Mondo Avion's Sky High standout, Harper Hayden Hawkshaw. And like Mondo said,
we all know those initials are legendary in this business, and I think that says a lot about her future.
and I say that is very true. She did very great with all the drills, and she learned very quickly, especially for it being her first time. And she said that she is going to work harder and harder to make sure that she can beat anyone in class. And with the way she performed, I believe that is going to happen. Alright, that'll be it for today. Thank you everyone for joining me on this week's Tuesdays with Thadd. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to go to www.prowrestlingtees.com/DcoTees and grab your Raw Determination and United We Stand, Divided You Fall t-shirts. And remember, with your support, we will not be divided.